everyone. It is Randi, and we are here at Litecoin Summit. And I just ran into Kyle, the host of 84 Million Podcast. How are you doing, Kyle?
Doing well. Glad to be in Amsterdam. And of course, great to be talking to you.
You're just so amazing, Kyle. Kyle has just been tolerating me this whole time. And I dragged him out for dinner last night and we had steak and it was fantastic. And so we wanted to talk about more than steak today, obviously. I wanted to ask you about your experience in the crypto space. Like, how did you first approach crypto? What was the space like when you started versus now?
So I was aware, and I've talked about this on the show in the past. Sometimes I feel like I say the same thing all the time, but it's true and it shouldn't change, right? So I think Bitcoin I knew about pretty early on, but it was very much, though very libertarian, kind of gold and silver and precious metals. I wasn't totally on board with the digital kind of variety of sound money yet. And then, of course, Litecoin was the second cryptocurrency I interfaced with, and that was probably 2012. So early, but not day one. And I always say it was the first one I ignored. You know, I had the opportunity to mine it with a $400 miner that a guy I knew named John Jones. He was selling these Rocky Mountain Prospector miners. And that was when Litecoin was 50 LTC per block. Hash rate, of course, was a lot lower then, but you know, we're in our early 20s and it's like, even he made the miner, he's marketing this miner, and he and I talking, I'm like, it just doesn't justify the electricity. He's like, I know, you just got to take it to Starbucks and plug it in. So that's kind of where we were at the time.
Insane. That's absolutely wild.
So I always say Litecoin was the first coin I ignored, but I refused to ignore it. And now I'm here. So.
Oh, just wow. That is insane. And so when was like that moment where you were like, you know what, maybe like I should have a podcast? What was that push? Because I know it sometimes like you don't feel like you're in the position to have a podcast, but you do.
Yeah. So I think in the spirit of cryptocurrency, liberty, decentralization, it's kind of a lot of self-determination or just, you know, pick it up and do it. I actually wanted other people in our community at the time, 2021-ish, to start something like a long form podcast, and they just weren't willing to do it for whatever reason. They weren't comfortable because there's a lot of smart people that are active on, you know, Twitter or whatever, but they're not comfortable to speak. And so I just said, you know, whatever, I'll take a shot of it. But it was really after talking with David Burkett on a standalone kind of interview. If you watch it now, the audio and the lighting and all that's not really there, but you know what? The content was there and a lot of people liked it. And we just kind of went from there.
You know, that's just kind of how it has to start, where it's just casual and you learn as you go. I don't think there was really, and even now there's like no playbook as to be a podcast host or be an influencer or content creator. You just have to like go and shoot your shot and you just relentlessly do that. But what do you think is the biggest thing that people kind of struggle with when it comes to crypto in general? And what are you trying to do to kind of fix the messaging?
So it's interesting. So Litecoin can be called a dino coin or whatever, which is true. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. I just think a lot of the flash and sparkle and hype, it can be really exciting if you catch a good wave, but it can really burn you. And I think a lot of people get burnt and they just turn the whole thing off forever. And it seems like we really departed from the idea of we're using this as actual money. I mean, even in Bitcoin, and I'm not anti-Bitcoin, but it's like, you know, we've gotten to a point where it's you buy it and never spend it. Some of these maximalist personalities would just say, you know, treat it like a stock, don't use it, hoard it, you know, and you can do that. Anything is possible, right? It's your decision. But the point is we've departed so far from the idea of money, sound money, digital money that's decentralized, non-government, permissionless. And I think we need to return to that. So I kind of preach the same thing. I'm interested in the lit VMs. I'm interested in let's say peripheral uses of Litecoin with ordinals and rooms when they were coming out. So there's a lot you can do with it. But at the end of the day, it is the silver to Bitcoin's gold. It's digital silver. It's a digital commodity. It's sound money.
Absolutely. And I think people just kind of lock in when it becomes a necessity rather than something that they're proactive about. And people sometimes just wait till it's too late. They don't like do anything until it affects them. You know what I mean? So I think when people just finally realize that fiat currency is not working anymore, we need something that's independent of governments and something that really truly brings equality. And I think Litecoin does that in terms of just transacting and payment speed. So, you know, when it comes to the world and adoption, where do you think we're at now? And where do you think we're going to be in the next 5 years?
Well, a lot of people use Litecoin. For nearly 2 years, it was #1 on BitPay, which is a gigantic payment processor for cryptocurrencies. There's other things that I think we're going to see cropping up soon, supporting Litecoin at point of sale. Unfortunately, that whole impetus sort of died back in the block wars, but I hope to see it again because, again, it's money. But, the user experience is getting a lot better. And another thing back when I first introduced it, it's like, am I going to send money to a trading card company in Japan and wire this and get Bitcoin? Like, it was really confusing. You just had like core environments, which I'm very comfortable with core and Litecoin, but a lot of people aren't. They want it on mobile. So the beautiful thing is it's probably easy. No, it is easier than ever to access Litecoin. It's everywhere, whether you want to do something centralized, which was initially what you really had, unless it was P2P, but now you can have decentralized, access to Litecoin. So it's really everywhere. I just encourage people to get one. I mean, you can get them in whole units. We're on a fire sale right now. What are we, 45 or something today? So it doesn't cost a lot for a whole unit of Litecoin. Just dip your hands in it, use it, have the experience. Thankfully, with MWeb, you can actually transact more privately, which is amazing. Bitcoin doesn't have that. Ethereum doesn't have that natively. So we've got a lot going for us. And just start. Open some sort of account or get a friend that has some Litecoin and shows you how to download a wallet and just get some and just work with it.
Yeah, exactly. Play, have fun, experiment. I feel like some people have to see it to believe it. And I feel that like when you start transacting with crypto, you're like, oh, this is actually fun. I enjoy this. So Kyle, what do you think of just Litecoin in general right now? And what do you think of Litecoin Summit being in Amsterdam? And what are your future hopes for Litecoin?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a member of the community. I have the podcast, I have the shop. I'm here as a volunteer in many aspects, and I have to thank the Litecoin Foundation for that, their support. I'm optimistic on Litecoin. I know the prices are very disappointing. I kind of laughed at the gentleman in the privacy panel this morning. He said, oh, the market is mellow. That's a nice way to put it. It's very mellow right now. It's discouraging. A lot of people are discouraged, but we have to think, if this were to gone to zero, as so many people claim, whether it was Bitcoin or whatever currency, it's going to zero, going to zero. They aren't going to zero, and meaning the sound ones like Litecoin. And, I think that would have already happened. We're going on 15 years. So it's here for the future. I'm very optimistic. All of the metrics for uses and addresses, now expanding Web3 technology, up and coming with things like LitVM. I'm very optimistic for Litecoin to see what we can do with it beyond money and as money.
And I'm optimistic about your future, Mr. Kyle, 84 million. Thank you so much for joining us. And where can everyone find you at home?
84million.com. I'm on X at 84 million. And of course, Randi, we've had you on the show. You're doing wonderfully. And she's doing amazing things. We've watched her over the years too. And, you're carrying the message far and wide. And we're grateful to have you in the Litecoin fam.
Oh, I'm so happy to be here. Guys, make sure you're at the next Litecoin Summit and share out all the Litecoin Foundation socials. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Peace.